Hello, everybody. My name is Nima. I'm from Leia. To give you just a quick brief about what Leia does, we're the world's leading 3D company. We make the most 3D displays, have the most patents, have the most software, hardware, and deploy to the most customers in real time. We make glasses-free 3D displays, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. But what we're going to talk about today is how to get the perfect 3D shot and what that entails. So I'm going to give you guys the vision. We're going to skip through a lot of this stuff because I think that you guys don't care too much about that. But ultimately, we really believe that 3D is how we give people the most realistic and the most emotional experience. That means whether you're 3D chatting with someone, whether you're watching one of your favorite movies, 3D just makes people, it grips people more than monoscopic content does. The real world's 3D. I'm seeing you guys in 3D right now. Our content probably should be too. So, a quick little brief about the company. We actually just acquired Dimenco, which was the number 2 3D company, and now we're very far in the lead to number 1. Both companies were spin-offs of other massive companies. So, Dimenco spun out of Philips in 2010, and then us, Leia, we spun out of HP in 2014. So we've been in the business for quite a while. The technology that we make is very complicated. So as you can see, the companies both started during the last major 3D wave, but we didn't start shipping in serious numbers until just a few years ago. It took quite a while for this awesome technology to really get to a place where it was viable in the market. But now we've caught our stride and we've got lots of customers, so we're really excited about that. So we have a few major product lines that you guys can see, and these are in the wild. There are people and companies using it, consumers are using it. So that's the LoomPad 2. I was the product manager of that product. It's the ultimate 3D tablet, very well reviewed, won lots of CES Innovation Awards. Our partner Acer is making a line of tablets, monitors, portable monitors, and laptops. And those are really, really incredible. You should definitely try those out. They are all focused on Windows, whereas the LoomPad and ZT NubiaPad 3D products are based on Android. And then Asus also has really cool laptops they're making as well for creatives. So this is a customer testimonial from our partners at Acer. Basically, we work very closely together to deliver some really incredible technology. I'll let you guys look at that, and I'm sure you guys can get the slides later. I don't want to spend too much time on this. And also ZTE. So we work very closely with them. As you can see, the LoomPad 2, which we designed, they rebranded as the NubiaPad 3D. And then they also have a phone of theirs that they're going to be using our display. And that one, hopefully, we'll see something like that come in later in 2024. Sweet. So let's talk about the business model real quick before we get into why it's important to even take good 3D photos. Ultimately, you want to have a market where your users, your creators, and really everybody is capturing and sharing this immersive content. You need to have a flywheel. Having just one part of the equation is not enough. You can't just have a really good 3D camera or just really good 3D software or just really good 3D displays or just really good consumer products. You have to have an entire pipeline so consumers are capturing the content, sharing the content, editing the content. Otherwise, any one piece of the puzzle missing, it breaks the flywheel and makes them have to go to a different ecosystem to buy something. And that increased friction every time they have to do that makes it so that nobody's creating the content. So one of the really amazing things we've done with our business model is basically create that complete ecosystem where once a customer buys one product, they can do everything. They don't need to buy additional things. They start using 3D significantly because they get all the capabilities in one single product within that ecosystem, and then if they choose to, they can buy more, but they don't have to. So we have our display IP and our tooling. So we basically have our display tech. We have a switchable 3D display. It's pretty interesting technology. So that means there's no downside to 2D. That's another really big critical component to this. When in most 3D display technologies, whether you look at traditional lenticular or parallax barrier, when you're running in 2D, you either have to spatially have the resolution or temporally have the resolution in the case of glasses solutions. But we're glasses free and there's no downside to the 2D. You get full resolution 2D, which I think is really critical for most consumer use cases. We also have our own tooling. So our tooling goes into the different factories when they're building all the display technologies, and that really ensures that everything's calibrated well, looks good, et cetera. We also have software licensing, so it would be kind of difficult if a big OEM wanted to license our tech, and the next question is going to be, well, do we have to spend millions and millions of dollars to develop our own software? The answer is no. Once you license our displays, we have the options to let you license all of our Android and Windows software, relabel it, white label it, etc. That ensures kind of a cohesive ecosystem, because that means if multiple Android OEMs end up licensing our tech and using our tech as a base, there's pretty good interoperability between them, even though they're two completely different OEMs. They're still able to share files back and forth. They have similar capabilities. SDKs are similar and intercompatible. It's very useful there. Plus our cloud services and our licensees. So Warner Brothers, Universal, we use Zoom. So all that's pretty cool. So let's actually get to, I'm going to skip over this. These are all the platform apps for Android. They're very, very capable. They're pretty amazing. But basically, as you can see here, whether it's a media player, camera, 3D movies, video chat, social networks, we basically have full capabilities. When you purchase one of our products, you get access to every single one of these, and our users use all these and love them. They have the capability to do really everything. And we have a lot of things built in that no other system does. For example, real-time 2D to 3D video conversion. And I can talk about that a little bit later, but let's move on here. So let's talk about the perfect 3D shot. So what is the unique aspect of a 3D shot that gives people more? And I think the answer to that is just depth. And I know that sounds really trite, but when you think about it, the depth is not just about the feeling someone gets when they get that stereoscopic effect. It's actually additional data within your file that allows you to do a significant amount of manipulations on the file that make the content significantly better. And we can talk a little bit about that, but let's talk about what we can, how we basically thought through this problem. So I'm wearing a sweater right now for the Hydrogen One. This was our first device that we licensed. It was from Red. Red's obviously one of the world's leading camera companies. This phone was not reviewed well, but despite that, I think the experience that we had specifically for the 3D was actually pretty phenomenal. So what we did with this is we launched it with a stereo camera on the front and on the back. It is pretty low baseline, but ultimately we had tons and tons of people posting to our social network Leia pics. And we did this strategically because right now, even if today you go out and look for a good stereo data set that's in the wild, it's pretty difficult to find a large volume of high quality tagged content. But you know what's really cool about a social network? People use hashtags. People will say hashtag dog, hashtag food. They do all of our work for us. They pre-label all of the data. So we have a bunch of users using this phone and posting tons and tons, hundreds, thousands of images a day to this platform that we host, which gives us a bunch of data to train on. And we've actually released some of this data for the public. It's called the HoloPix 50K dataset. You guys can go look that up. That's only a small fraction of our data, but it continues to grow every single day. People still use it. So we basically were able to gather this massive data set. And as you can see here, these are 50,000 images. It's like the animation is just jumping through all of them. And yeah, this is very useful for us to be able to train all of our ML models on. So then we've launched more devices. We had the LoomPad that came out in 2020. This is the LoomPad 2 and the ZT Nubia Pad 3D, which came out last year in 2023. They have a wider baseline, still have a 3D camera on both the front and the back, and we still see that people are posting content. Now, one of the really cool things is this is the highest quality consumer 3D camera ever shipped. For photos, it takes 5K resolution per eye photos, which are really, really high quality, which gives us super good data when we want to capture, when we want to train our models, basically. So the quality of our data has kind of skyrocketed in the last year. We have a lot of options within the platform, so this is part of having that perfect flywheel. One of the things we have is in the Leia Player app, which is our built-in media player, the default 3D media player on the platform, we have editing features, right? And users go into it and they go edit the 3D focus, which is basically our convergence, to their liking. So they'll go converge their image until it looks good. Then they'll go post it on LeiaPix. This gives us pre-tagged data on where we should converge the image. Why is that important? Well, as you guys can see, we also have an auto-conversion system. So we've basically built this system that allows us to identify where different things should be converged and then recreate a new image based on that convergence. So our autoconvergence, we run it on photos. We also have it running on videos, and we have various ways that we train the model and allow users to kind of pre-tag it, and for creators to set it manually themselves. But I think the automated system is really important because this allows you to take 3D images from any camera, even cameras that are not ours, not on our devices. You take an old Fujifilm FinePix W3, take an MPO there, and our auto reconvergence runs on that. So it's pretty incredible, and a lot of 3D enthusiasts are used to going into more complicated software and setting it manually, but with our auto reconvergence, you don't have to. You just open it and it just looks good every time. And that's kind of the goal. Now, obviously, it's not perfect 100% of the time, but we're getting closer and closer. I'd say right now, in over 95% of images that do auto reconvergence, it looks amazing, and then 5%, people still need to do some manual edits. So let's talk about our 2D to 3D conversion. So we, I believe, have the absolute best 2D to 3D conversion in the world. We beat every single open source model in every benchmark. We beat all the proprietary models that people pay for when people go head to head. There are some situations where some models can beat us in a very unique use case, but overall, we're by far the best. We have it for both photos and videos. We have real-time models that run on Snapdragon chips. So we have models that run on SNPE on the DSP of a Qualcomm 845 in the case of the LumenPad 1, or the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 in the case of the LumenPad 2. And we've also brought the models to other platforms. For example, we have it running on the Pico 4 on the XR2 chipset, and it runs in real time and lets you run a 2D video in 3D stereoscopically in real time. It's pretty incredible. We would have it on the Quest, but they don't let the DSP get access by third parties, so hopefully that changes at some point. Great. So we also do, obviously, there's kind of two parts of that. So we do the disparity estimation on monoscopic sources. So we're able to look at an image and get a disparity map, and then we do the novel view synthesis on top of that. We also do blur estimation. So as I'm sure you guys know, bokeh is a pretty common factor of both DSLR mirrorless cameras, as well as now it's done in software on a lot of smartphones. So in 3D, blur can be very uncomfortable if you don't handle it properly. So one of the things that we also do is we use a neural net to do the blur estimation, so we know how to do the novel view synthesis for the 3D image that we generate from it. So this is pretty integral, and it really helps us get a good experience when we're showing 2D to 3D converted images to people. And then this is our auto convergence tech, and it lets us know where to set the convergence, basically understand where the focus of the image is so that we can set the convergence for whoever the focus is. This is significantly more useful in things like video, for example, because they do pull focus in movies. And yeah, we could put the blur map and the disparity map together to give you a perfectly converged stereo. Great, and then this is LeiaPix.com, which is kind of our most popular product right now. So we've worked on it for a few years. The idea for it came out about 3 years ago, and it didn't really pop off until about a year and a half ago when the generative AI art movement really started to take off. So what LeiaPix.com does, it lets you go on any device right now. So if you're on your phone, your laptop, et cetera, you can go to LeiaPix.com. All you got to do is sign up with an email, and you get access to a free 2D to 3D photo conversion. Now, what that conversion allows you to do is once you've got that high-quality disparity map that you see right there, where we are clearly outperforming the others, you're able to get an animation out of that. The animation is the main thing that we see people use this platform for. They use it for social media. So they're basically they're putting their 2D images up and then choosing a bunch of parameters for different types of camera motion to create the incredible animation you see in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, they don't have to do that. We also have options for exporting to SBS, exporting the Leia image format, which is our proprietary format, which we're trying to open up soon. But the primary thing people do is these animations and put it on social media. People love to post these on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere. And there's multiple Facebook groups dedicated to our conversion tech. I think it's really, really exciting, and some of the creators just blow me away. But this is a really incredible thing because we've got millions of people using this product. It shows that there is a great desire for the benefits of 3D, even if you don't have a 3D display. We're seeing it being used in countries where they have like large populations but might not have super high technology adoption rates. We're seeing it used in really everywhere. It's an incredibly popular product right now. And the cool thing about this tech is that we've also rolled it out to an API, so anyone can access it. So if someone wants to build this into their app, they can just hit our cloud API and do whatever they want with it. So it's not locked to our platform. It's accessible to others. And we're also bringing video conversion soon as well. So obviously, internally, we've been doing this for a very, very long time. Like I said, we already have the real-time video on our devices. We've tuned the model specifically for the chipsets on the devices that we deliver. But one of the really cool things about having that API is that we can release a video API, which will allow anyone to use it. Now, you can think of all of the IP holders in the world, and anyone who has a movie that they have that's in 2D can now get their content ready for something like the Apple Vision Pro or the LoomPad 2 or the Acer Spatial Labs products. And this is, I think, really game-changing because obviously a lot of newer technologies have a content problem. So this kind of resolves the content problem. You're able to now convert your existing content in a way that's very high quality for the new devices. Now, some people are going to argue, well, it's never going to be as good as a true 3D camera. I agree. I mean, I think that in many cases we're approaching being as good as a 3D camera, but let's just say it'll never reach that quality. Let's concede that, okay, conversions are never going to be as good as 3D. The important thing is it's much better than 2D, and that's today. Right now, a converted 3D video looks significantly better than watching it in 2D, and we're seeing the analytics on that. We have a massive user base that we're able to look at, and we're seeing that 3D video, converted 3D video, is the #1 use case of our products. We have average session times watching video of over an hour. This is significantly better than what you're seeing with XR, for headsets specifically. We have lots of different types of content. The movies, of course, are really big, but one of the core things we see people do is YouTube. So we have the ability to convert YouTube on the fly into 3D on our platform, and that's pretty much the most attractive thing. It works with TikTok and a few other platforms as well, Twitch, but the main thing that we're seeing is people just going on and watching YouTube videos in 3D over and over and over and over and over, and it's just super sticky. And the API is going to come soon, which allows anyone to access it on the cloud without the need for a powerful computer or a GPU. However, it's not just the cloud-based API. We also do license the model for people to run locally on their device if they don't want to hit our server and pay a few cents per frame every time they want to convert something for their customers. So I think it's a pretty incredible feature that we have. There's not really other people delivering it the same way we are. So some people have, if you can either buy a piece of software that runs locally on your PC, or you can access a cloud-based system that takes hours and hours to render a 3D video, or you can maybe get a little bit of depth estimation on a mobile device. But we're the only ones that really have every single part of that process. We have real-time that runs on mobile, real-time that runs on PC GPUs, and a cloud-based system that gives you the highest quality. And all of these are available right now. And we also have a booth demo. So for those of you who actually want to try it out and think, maybe I'm lying, maybe it's not as cool as I'm saying, I guarantee you it is. We have a demo of our 32-inch 8K Leia SR Pro 2. This is an 8K display. You get more than 4K resolution per eye. Our technology is pretty interesting in the way we're doing it. It's not discretely dividing per view. So like, let's say, in most autostereoscopic devices, if you had 4 discrete views, you're dividing your resolution 4 times. We're doing something a little more interesting than that. So you guys can come see for yourselves how sharp this experience is. This is, to me, retina resolution 3D. It's absolutely incredible. I love playing Final Fantasy VII on this. It's just nuts. But we have 3D photos and videos that you can come see. We have a 3D model viewer, so any 3D model, OBJ, GLTF, FBX, et cetera, they all open up and you can manipulate them. And then we also have a new Gaussian splats viewer. And so we're really excited about NeRFs and Gaussians, and we think that those are one of the most interesting methods of capturing 3D information. And so, of course, we're focused on how do we ensure people can decode those and view those as well, and also ideas about how we can share those and create a universal format around that. And games are on there as well, but I think for imaging, I think you guys are probably going to care a little more about the Gaussians and the 3D photos and videos that we have. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much.